Now, let me quickly talk to you about where to source your dropshipping products. I mean, you're probably running a dropshipping operation right now, or you are thinking about opening a dropshipping operation, but you got to be in a situation where you are sourcing your products correctly. Okay. So before I actually get into the nitty gritty, let me first give you an overview about the whole situation. When we talk about dropshipping this year, a lot of folks are jumping on the bandwagon, not because there's a lot of money to be made in it, even though there is money to be made in it, because of the flexibility. You could be in your house. You could be having a 9 to 5 regular job, but still drop shipping on the side. If you have the whole operation set up the proper way, okay. So folks are doing drop shipping not because because it's flexible. There's a lot of money, but also because of the fact that it is relatively easier. Okay, you don't have to have money for inventory. You don't have to have money for a warehouse. You don't have to lease a warehouse or rent a warehouse or whatever. So you basically are putting everything into the hands of a dropshipping supplier or a dropshipping agent. So this sort of trifecta, what we call trifecta, is pretty good. On top of that, you have platforms nowadays. You have new platforms. You have old platforms that are getting more sophisticated. I'm talking about the Deezers of the world, the Spockets of the world, the Doba of the world, and those are getting more sophisticated. In addition to the new ones, you have API dropship. You have AliExpress. You have Ali Dropship. You have a lot of players in this industry, and you do have flexibility in terms of whether you want to partner with a US-based dropshipper or a dropship supplier, or someone who's based overseas. Okay. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. I really appreciate having you here. In today's conversation, we're having a convo on dropshipping, but most importantly, where to source your dropshipping products. And this is really important because when we talk about sourcing your dropshipping products, I'm not just talking about the risk of you having your whole dropshipping operations going down under if something goes bad. It's also in terms of your reputation, right? Because the quality of your products, the quality of the sourcing that you have, the quality of your dropshipping supplier will have a domino effect on your dropshipping operation overall. Because remember, your customer has no idea that you are dropshipping. No idea. They're just ordering from an online store, and they're thinking that you're the one who is actually manufacturing and storing and shipping the product, but you're not. Now, let me give you a few pro tips, okay? Now that we have actually clarified everything in terms of why a lot of folks are getting into dropshipping nowadays, let me give you a few pro tips in terms of where to source your dropshipping products from. This is really important, okay? And this is basically this is the topic of today's conversation. One thing I want to say here is that when you think about dropshipping and you want to source the products from, you have 3 ways of looking at this. And I'm going to break each way for you. So you can look at this topic from a geography perspective. You can look at it from a platform perspective, or you can look at it from an intermediary perspective. So when we talk about geography, you can say, you know what? I want to source my dropshipping products from China, from Thailand, from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Brazil, from Germany, from the UK. That's the geography part. And this could be actually be very interesting because if you are, let's say you are drop shipping some products that are only available in those locations, then it might make sense because everybody thinks about China being pretty good in terms, and they are in the majority of aspects. They are pretty good in terms of the cost versus quality, right? But very soon, as the cost of living is going up in China also, and you have the emergence of a middle class, you're going to see actually resources and cost of resources shifting to other locations. So from a geography perspective, everybody thinks about the country they want to source dropshipping products from. You can look at it from, let's say, the platform. You can say, you know what? I want to source my products from a dropship supplier, from Doba, from Deezers, from AliExpress, from Spockets, okay, from Zendrop. You have a lot of players out there in terms of the platform. Or you can say, you know what? I want to source my dropshipping products from an intermediary. So in other words, I want to contact a dropship supplier directly, or I want to contact a dropshipping agent. So I want to have someone who has access to a dropshipping supplier who will handle everything for me, but I want to outsource the whole operation. So those are the three ways you can actually make money in this industry, you can actually source your dropshipping products. Now let's quickly talk about, because I really want to dig a little deeper here, because I spoke about dropshipping supplier, I spoke about dropshipping agent. It's really important to really explain what those things are. So what is a dropshipping supplier, and how many at the same time should you have? Okay, it's really important to understand that when we talk about a dropshipping supplier, we are speaking about, what are we speaking about? We're speaking about two kinds of people, or two kinds of how do I call it? Two kinds of intermediaries. So you have a dropshipping supplier, that's a platform. So you are talking about a website or a software that allows you to tap into a larger database of suppliers. So those platforms are not human. They're not humans, okay? So when I'm talking about Deezers is an organization. And also a Shopify app, same thing for Importify, same thing for Zendrop, same thing for Spocket. Okay, those are organizations, and they have software tools, they have apps, they have all kinds of integrations to make sure that you are able to connect your Shopify store, your WooCommerce store, your BigCommerce store, your Squarespace store, your Square Online store, your Weebly store, your Magento, whatever store you have, you are able to integrate this store pretty easily to their platform. So that's on the non-human part of things. But there is another thing you need to pay attention to, which is the human part of things, the dropshipping supplier. So for instance, when you contact someone on AliExpress, you are speaking to a human. You're speaking to a live person, because you have players who are registered on the platform, and they're there to do business. They're looking for clients like you. So you have to actually talk to a person and ask them to send you a product sample, ask them about their MOQs, their minimum order requirements, their minimum order quantities. Ask them about quality, ask them about QC, the quality control procedures, ask them about whatever procedures they have in place to ensure there are no counterfeiting. There's no counterfeiting. So you have to look at the duality of things. So big decision time, boss. Big decision time. Which dropshipping supplier type do you want to actually deal with? Do you want to deal with the platform or the human directly? Now let's talk about how to find dropshipping products. Okay, how to find products to sell on your dropshipping store. It's really important to understand that when you are sourcing products, at the end of the day, you need to think about quality, but most importantly, you need to think about market appeal. Because see, you can have a quality product, but if you can't sell it or nobody wants to buy it, you're just wasting your time, right? Pause. Okay. But I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. What are we talking about? I'm explaining to you where to source your product from when dropshipping. Okay, and it's really important to understand that if you want to find product to sell in your dropshipping store, everything starts from where? Everything starts from what? Starts from your target audience. Obviously, you should have done some keyword research, right? You should have done some niching down, like really trying to narrow down on your target market. You should have done a lot of work in terms of making sure that you are zeroed in on the specific products or market you want to focus on. It's also really important at this point rather, to make sure that when we talk about niching down, a lot of times we just think about the demographics of the market, but we forgot about the geography. Because see, listen, you could be in the States right now, you can be in New York, you can be in Teaneck, New Jersey. Shout out to my folks in Teaneck, New Jersey. You can be in Teaneck, New Jersey and trying to really drop ship. And you got to ask yourself, do I want to focus on clients in the States, or do you want to focus on the whole world? And this, when you actually start thinking about the whole world, you are bringing into the equation a whole other world of equations, let's say variables. Okay, and this is important because when we talk about where to source your how to find product to sell on your drop shipping store, you want to make sure that the shipper, the drop shipping supplier, is not really far away from your target locations, because otherwise you'll be just wasting a lot of time and money in terms of shipping. Like shipping taking like 1 month to reach your customer. The customer is pissed, and the last thing you know, they're just asking for a refund. So you have spent money already shipping the product to them, and they're pissed. They want a refund. So you are going to you're going to absorb the round trip in terms of shipping. That's just crazy. Now, one thing you need to understand here is that when we talk about actually looking for like sourcing products, you can actually do the product research yourself, or you can actually leave the whole work to a third party. You can outsource the whole thing. That's not a problem. You can have a dropshipping supplier do it. You can have a dropshipping agent do it. You can do it yourself. Like you can use tools such as Ahrefs or Miles, whatever, to do keyword research, or you can use the existing platforms from Deezers to Zendrop to Spocket, okay, to AliExpress. You can use the existing platform to do the product research yourself. The bottom line here is, do you have time? You got to really understand that. Do you have time, and do you have the intellectual capacity to do the research? Because it's not just about, hey, listen, I want to do the research myself. Okay, can you do it? I'm talking about intellectually speaking. Like, do you have the skills, the analytical skills to do the research? Because you got to really understand what you're doing too. And if you're a newbie, maybe you can't do it because you don't have the experience. So this is an element you have to really think about. Okay. Now there are pros and cons when you do the research yourself, or if you want to use a dropshipping product research tool, or you want to use a third party like a dropshipping agent to do the research for you. All right. It's all about resources, money, time. Because when we talk about dropshipping business, as like everything else in life, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of solving the equation between your time, your money, and your resources. And resources mean also your skills, okay? So this is really important to really think about. So if you want to do it yourself, just think about the fact that you will be spending a lot of time. You might not spend a lot of money, but you'll be spending a lot of time and browsing the internet, just doing a lot of Googling, going on Alibaba, going on AliExpress, like really spending a lot of time. If you want to use a dropshipping product research tool, just be ready to spend some money, right? And it's not a lot of cash though, but they can add up real quick. Like you can pay like $40 or $50. And if you want to upgrade to another account, this could easily cost you like $75 a month. That's just a month, but you're not making any profit yet. You're not even selling yet, okay? And so you have to really think about those things beforehand. Now, let's quickly talk about, let me give you a review here in terms of product sourcing in general. I mean, aside from dropshipping, because this is important to understand that when we talk about where to source your products from when dropshipping, there is an entire universe, there's an entire sort of realm of sourcing in general that you need to understand. When we talk about product sourcing, it is basically the process by which a business attains stock to sell. So if you are a dropshipper, you're looking to constitute some inventory, right, from which you can sell. Now, in dropshipping, luckily, you don't have to store any products. Okay. Now, the thing is, to find marketable inventory for your online store, for example, either dropshipping or non-dropshipping, you can explore manufacturers, wholesalers, artisans, and other types of creators and businesses who produce merch for sale. Typically, the product sourcing process includes product ideas research. So you research product ideas. You want to see what the product ideas are better based on the niche that you want to get into, based on your geography, based on your goals. You want to do vendor analysis. So you want to see which vendor is really great based on specific KPIs, key performance indicators. You want to do a price comparison. So you want to compare and contrast prices, and you want to negotiate in terms of the supply deals. So you want to negotiate the actual transactions. Okay. And when we talk about types of product sourcing, there are different types of product sourcing. So you have DIY products or services. So basically, like the thing here is if you want to keep your search productive, okay, you want to prioritize the following 5 sourcing vectors. You want to have DIY products or services. You want to have manufacturers or wholesalers. You want to think about dropshipping suppliers. You want to think about marketplaces. And you want to think about trade shows. So when I talk about marketplaces, I'm speaking about eBay. I'm speaking about Amazon. I'm speaking about Etsy. I'm speaking about Bonanza. I'm speaking about Newegg. I'm speaking about Walmart Marketplace. Okay. I'm talking about those online places. I'm talking about Wish. So you do have those places out there. Now, here is the approach I really want you to really pay attention to. I want to really share with you a checklist that we have actually constituted in the last few years when it comes to dropshipping, if you want to get started in dropshipping. And this is a formula for success that you really need to pay attention to, because it's one thing that you don't have to think. You just set it up and just execute. That's all. Nothing else to do. You just have to execute. So let me share with you a checklist to get you started, okay? And so you want to source material. So source materials. So it can be flea markets, craft stores, estate sales, established retail businesses, or even friends and family who could provide you with raw materials for reworking, for example. Determine what you need, where you will get the supplies, and how much they'll cost. And then you want to decide on your pricing. You want to calculate how long your products will take to make. Determine how you will ship orders. Learn what it will take to ship. This is important. You want to consider where you will store your inventory if you are not using a dropshipping model. You want to make a plan for communicating timelines, especially if you are dealing with a supplier in China, dropshipping supplier in China, okay? And this is really important in terms of, this is important if you are doing things yourself. If you are doing things yourself, like DIY product or services, then you want to think about that. Okay. Now, if you want to actually, if you say, you know what, I don't have time for this stuff, I'm just going to contact other players, then you can reach out to manufacturers or wholesalers. Okay. So working with a manufacturer or wholesaler means you are hiring a third party to provide the products for you. Okay. And so you can do that, not a problem. But you can also try dropshipping. So dropshipping, as you know already, that you don't have to do anything. You have a dropshipping supplier that does it for you. So you actually are replenishing your e-commerce websites with products that are just coming straight from a dropshipping supplier who's just taking care of everything. In some cases, even the fulfillment. You can try marketplaces. As I said, marketplaces are great because you are able to find a lot of stuff. Okay, vintage and pre-loved items, collectibles. You know, artisanal products. You have decor and art. You have handmade products. This is really good also. And the last part is trade shows also. Trade shows are kind of cool also because you are able to see a lot of stuff, okay, in terms of, especially if the trade show relates to your specific niche, you are able to get a lot of stuff from the industry and just fantastic. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about where to source your products from when dropshipping. So I gave you the overview. I gave you a few pro tips. I gave you a bonus in terms of where to find the products, give you a review, and I ended up by giving you the approach you need to follow when it comes to the types of product sourcing. Okay, so DIY products or services, manufacturers or wholesalers, dropshipping, marketplaces, and trade shows. Thank you. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.